Yo, what is up guys? Ethan here, back with another video, and today we return with college football videos. As today we will be previewing week 10. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Now with this video, it may be a little bit rushed because I haven't had no time during the week to record both my videos, and I'm sorry about that. But I'm going to try to get this video up before the noon games. But before we hop into that, since I was not able to show off my preseason or midseason top 25, my bad, here's my midseason top 25 before we head into my predictions for this upcoming week. So here's my midseason top 25. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Obviously, this was recorded before the Oregon State loss. So after that Oregon State loss, they'll probably be out. Knock Liberty, Q's, Texas, and NC State up, and probably have Washington at that 25 spot. But personally, 1, 2, and 3, Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio State. Before the games today, this is interchangeable in my opinion, but I'm just going to lean towards Georgia because I think they're going to plain out win today. I'll get into that more as we go into the prediction, but Tennessee's been great this year. That's why I have them number 2. And Ohio State, after that Penn State game, looked phenomenal. And I have them over Michigan mainly because Ohio State has just looked better versus their overall opponents. And Michigan's non-conference schedule is awful. Clemson could very easily lose at Notre Dame today. And I have them at 5 because they're just undefeated. But they could definitely be getting lower and lower because their big-time wins are just not looking as good anymore. Syracuse lost to Notre Dame last week, so that really doesn't look good as well. But I think Clemson would definitely beat Alabama and TCU as of this point. Alabama's number 6. TCU's at number 7. That's going to be a little bit questionable for y'all, but I just think TCU is a little bit fraudulent today. They could very easily lose today versus Texas Tech. We'll get to that in a little bit as well. But I think if they just played head-to-head, as that is how I mainly did this top 25, just if I have like Tulane over Oklahoma State, because I think Tulane would actually beat Oklahoma State. And Tulane already beat Kansas State, and we all know what Kansas State did to Oklahoma State last weekend. For that reasoning alone, I just think Alabama would beat TCU, so that's why I have them at 6 and TCU 7. Oregon has looked phenomenal since that Georgia loss, so I have them at 8. Utah has the head-to-head over USC, so I have Utah 9 and USC 10. USC, not UNC, my bad. Kansas State looks phenomenal so far this year. Their only 2 losses was in my opinion, was close versus TCU, and then a loss versus Tulane. So 2 ranked games, not that bad for the Wildcats. UCLA's are getting, like, they're not a top 10 team, I think, but they are definitely a top 15 team, so I have them at number 12. Illinois at 13, maybe a little high to some people, but I really just love what Brett Bielema is doing with this Fighting Illini team. They have the best defense statistically in college football. Overall wise, it's probably top 5. And Tommy DeVito and Chase Brown on that offense has been phenomenal as well. I understand they really don't have a true contest, but each and every game they're showing out and looking great. I can't wait until they face Michigan to see if they are a true contender in the Big Ten. I have LSU at 14 and Ole Miss at 15 just because head-to-head, but the college football playoff actually has LSU at 10, which I do think is kind of wild, but I do agree with LSU over Ole Miss just because of the head-to-head. UNC is 16. Their offense has been phenomenal, and depending on what they do this upcoming week and the weeks prior, they could definitely be a top 10 team because Drake May is a Heisman candidate. Penn State's a little bit iffy, so I have them at 17. I already talked about Tulane and Oklahoma State. Wake Forest looked awful last week versus Louisville, but they are still a top 20 team in my opinion. Liberty, I think, deserves to be ranked based on what I've seen with this offense. You keep on interchanging quarterbacks due to injury, and they are still finding chances or ways to win. This defense for the Flames is great, so it's going to be really intriguing to see how they do on the road this week at Arkansas. Syracuse is on the back-to-back losing streak, but I still think they're a top 25 team as of right now. And based on what I've seen, I think Texas is a top 25 team as well. Their 3 losses was a close upset at Texas Tech. 1-point loss at home versus Alabama, which is a pretty good loss if you ask me. And they choked the lead versus Oklahoma State. I was going a little bit bland right there. But I think Texas could very easily beat Kansas State this week. And I think as of right now, based on this week alone, Texas is a top 25 team. And I know I've been hating NC State, but I really like MJ Morris. I looked back at the game. He looks great. So I have NC State at 25. And now it's time for my game predictions. And before, when I actually somewhat pre-recorded this, it was just with the AP Top 25 with the graphics. And now that I'm speaking now, it is the official college football playoff Top 25. And the first game is number 1 Tennessee at number 3 Georgia. And personally, I have Georgia at 1. And I kind of think if they did have Georgia not 1, it would definitely be 2. I don't know how they feel about number 3. And I think Georgia's going to be really mad about that. And they're going to show it this week. And I think this is going to be a close game. But I think Georgia's going to win this game at home. This could very well easily have been, or this will be, the biggest home game in Georgia football history. Now, that's just from the top of my head. There's definitely a few games that are going to be honorable mentions. But this game is definitely going to be up there, potentially number 1. Tennessee's going to look great. Georgia's going to look great. But I'm just more confident in Georgia. And I understand they've had a few iffy games this year, but I think at the end of the day, this defense is going to step up, show themselves as we just won the national championship, and we can very easily win it again this year. I have Georgia winning this game 34-32. Next game is number 6 Alabama at number 10 LSU. And I'm surprised that LSU is ranked this high. Originally they were 15 in the AP poll this week, if I'm not mistaken, but 10 is just crazy high in my opinion. I think 14, 13 is a great range for LSU currently, but this is going to be a great game as well. And yeah, LSU looks great. Jaden Daniels is leading this offense and is looking phenomenal as well. But it's Alabama, and Alabama seems to own LSU in the past few years, excluding 2019, of course. I think Bryce Young's going to have a great game showing, like, hey, I know Hendon Hooker's going off, and I know I've missed a few games, but I'm still the best player in college football. Bryce Young's going to pop off in this game. I think Will Anderson's going to have a big game as well. Look out for that safety trio, basically, at Alabama as well. I have Alabama winning today 42-31. Next game is number 5, Clemson at Notre Dame. Man, this is going to be a thrilling game. And this is like a 50-50 game for me, but unlike usually, I go with the home team in this case, so I'd have a Notre Dame upset. I'm going to exclude that. I think Clemson is going to find a way to win this game on the road, 27-23. Notre Dame is just so up and down, and I know they're having coming back from a great win on the road at Syracuse, but I just don't know how this offense for Notre Dame is going to face against this Clemson defense, especially with the rushing defense the Tigers have. So I'm more confident in Clemson today, so I'm going to have them winning by 4. And then I have number 24 Texas versus number 12 Kansas State. And I'm actually going to have Texas in an upset here. I have Texas winning this game 33-27. I think there's more film on this backup of Will Howard if he plays. If not, Adrian Martinez is just coming back from an injury. Either way, I think the quarterback for either if it's Howard or Martinez will struggle today. And I think this Texas offense is just too legit. I think Kansas State's going to be a little too hyped after that shutout win at home last week. This is a close game either way. I think this is going to be a really fun game to watch overall. But I'm actually going to have to take the Longhorns on the road in this game, 33-27. Obviously, we will be ignoring the Oregon State versus Washington game, as that happened Friday, and I'm recording this on a Saturday. Washington won that game, and I actually did have Washington winning 30-24. The final was 24-21, by the way. But the top game we'll be talking about on this graphic, at least, number 21 Wake Forest at number 22 NC State. And I think a lot of people are going to be taking Wake Forest to bounce back in this game, but I'm going to say no. I think they're going to go back-to-back games on the road losing, as I have the Wolfpack winning at home 28-24. This defense for Wake Forest is horrible. Well, not horrible, but they're not good, let's just say that. So I think MJ Morris is going to have yet another great game for this Wolfpack offense. MJ Morris is the future of this NC State team, and I think this defense is going to show out. They're super gritty, one of the most grittiest teams in all of college football. They always seem to bounce back as well, and I don't know if I can trust Sam Hartman currently. 6 turnovers in 1 quarter is just phenomenal. Well, phenomenally awful, but I'm more confident in NC State as they did come back to win. Wake Forest didn't, obviously, but I'm going to take the Wolfpack at home. A game you probably weren't expecting for me to talk about is number 19 Tulane versus Tulsa. And I find this game really intriguing as Tulsa head coach Philip Montgomery is basically on the hot seat. If he loses 2 more games this year, he's most likely out of there for in Tulsa. But Tulsa's offense is like really, really good. It doesn't matter if it's Davis, Brin, or Braxton, a quarterback. This Tulsa offense always finds a way to put up points. And to understand Tulane's main thing is the rush defense, or overall defense. But I think Tulsa's going to find a way to keep this game close. I'm going to take Tulane winning. Tulane has way more talent and by far better coaching than Willie Fritz. So I'm going to have Tulane winning this game 36-31. I'm expecting this game to be very close throughout the majority of this game. Do not be surprised if Tulsa pulls out an upset too. I do want to say that as well. But I'm going to take the more talented team and the ranked team in this matchup. Go Grieve Wave. And the final prediction we'll be talking about is number 18, Oklahoma State at Kansas. And I don't care who the quarterback at Kansas is. Oklahoma State does not look good right now. You could have really lost back-to-back games for Oklahoma State. You could have been on a 2-game losing streak heading into Lawrence. But I think you're still going to have a 2-game losing streak anyway. I think the Jayhawks are going to find a way and beat the Cowboys at home 37-34. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Jason Bean at quarterback, but Jalen Daniels could be coming back in a few games. And that's going to be huge for the Jayhawks. Kansas will make their first bowl appearance in what seems forever. But great win for the Jayhawks, but this game is going to be close either way in my opinion. The first over we'll talk about is UCLA at Arizona State. And Arizona State could very easily even upset UCLA tonight. This is Pac-12 after dark game, and anything's possible in those games as we've learned over the past few years. And Arizona State has already upset Washington at home this year, so why can't they upset UCLA at home? I think this UCLA defense is actually going to somewhat struggle versus this Sun Devils offense today. But Arizona State's defense is really not all that, so I think DTR is going to be able to lead this offense down the field throughout the majority of this game anyway. So I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. This game could potentially get into the 80s, but I'm going to take the plus, well, not the plus, but I'm going to take the over 63 in this game because I think this is going to be a high-scoring, close game. And then the second over is over 63 for Liberty at Arkansas. And this game's really going to intrigue me as well because Arkansas, they're not ranked right now, but they've had an iffy year. They lost to Texas A&M, they lost to Bama, but they've beaten other teams really, really well. Rocket Sanders, it seems, is having a great year. KJ Jefferson is the face of this Razorbacks team. But Liberty's winning some games. Their only loss thus far this year was a 1-point loss at Wake Forest, and if they didn't go for 2, they could very easily won that game in overtime. And it doesn't matter what quarterback's in for this Liberty team, it seems like, because they've had 3 quarterbacks play this year, and they've been able to win with all of them. So I think this Liberty team is going to keep it close, and I purposely made this a bet because I was thinking about this prediction for like over 30 minutes. I couldn't even decide. But I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think the defenses will somewhat struggle as I think both rushing games are going to be really good in this game. But I'm going to take the over 63 in this game. And then the pluses are a little outdated, I know, but I'm going to take the plus 8 for James Madison. Louisville is coming off a huge game versus Wake Forest last week, and James Madison, this is their first Power 5 game as they are part of the FCS now, and they are on a 2-game losing streak. And I think James Madison's going to want to bounce back, and this is probably their biggest game all season. They are going to be prepared. Louisville is definitely on upset alert this week, in my opinion. I'm not going to say James Madison's going to win, because I think Louisville will keep it close and win. But I think this is going to be a close game like I just stated. I'm going to take the points for James Madison as well. And I'm going to take the plus 9.5 for Texas Tech. I'm pretty sure the spread is now 8. TCU, I think, is kind of fraudulent this year, and it seems like each and every game they've kept it close. I think Joey McGuire is going to come prepared in this game. You just got blown out last week at home versus Baylor. He's going to want to bounce back from an awful loss at home. And I'm not going to say Texas Tech is going to win this game. I think TCU will yet again find a way to win, but I think this is going to be a surprisingly close game. Take the plus 9.5 for the Red Raiders. And that is it for my Week 10 predictions. And I know this might have been a little rushed, and I'm sorry this is coming out super, super late. But recaps are coming tomorrow, and then my predictions for Week 11 will be coming out next week as well. So like, share, subscribe, push notifications on so you don't miss any of my videos. And like always, have a good day. Peace out.